All right. Well, let's get the show started. It is 4:15. We do have a quorum, so I'll call to order this meeting of the Airport Commission. Commissioners attending remotely, please acknowledge yourselves.
Chip Beeson.
Andrew Savage.
Connor Daly.
And Tim George. So great. We are acknowledge yourselves. Next up is public forum. So I can't see if there's anyone in the room or anyone who is in the online waiting room. So I don't know if anyone can check that and let me know.
Robin is coming in from the online waiting room, and there's no members of the public present in the right room.
So there is a member of the press that is here covering this meeting. They're currently outside, but they might be joining, just so you know.
Okay, thanks very much. So seeing that there's no members of the public present in the room and none in the online waiting room, we will close down public forum. We'll move on to item 4. I'd be willing to entertain a motion to recommend that the Board of Finance approve the execution of an agreement with FlashParking Inc. for parking management services as outlined in our agenda packet. Do we hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
That is moved. Is there a second? Second by Chip. All right. And discussion to be led by Nick, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And thank you all for jumping on a quick special meeting a week before our regular scheduled meeting. We're still on for next week as well, but I wanted to make sure that we had this special meeting specific for this agenda item so that we can hit proper Board of Finance meetings on August 4th. Otherwise, we would have had to wait until August 24th to go to Board of Finance, and that will start impacting the schedule of installation of this parking software system with that couple of week delay. Obviously, we're tight on the approach to winter season. So what you have before you today is all spelled out in the memo, but you have what we are proposing after we raised our rates, which was effective on July 1st, which will help pay for the installation of an antiquated parking and revenue control software system. You all, I'm sure, have experienced our hardware and software system as it is today. It's older, especially for a computer system, and it very much needs an upgrade. We can't do a lot of things on our current system, like Google Pay or Apple Pay, or even scanning of a credit card at our exit machines with our current system. We also can't accommodate license plate recognition, which isn't necessarily for enforcement of parking, but it is a very, very important perk so that we can track much better data, such as Canadian license plates or other state license plates, or even your license plates, so that we can allow employees to access our parking garage with the license plate recognition versus all of the equipment that we have to buy today, like proximity cards that we hand out or those pieces of paper to validate parking. Those would all go away with this new system. Essentially, to wrap it all up, it is a modern, new, very much needed system for the new Leahy BTV. A huge shout out goes to Mike Waite, who is in the room at the right room, and we are physically in the right room, even though all the commissioners are online. And Mike has done an extensive job, and if you all remember, he is our facilities manager. Extensive job researching, coordinating, negotiating the contract with our lawyers, presenting it to our leadership team and myself, so we can get to this new system. And he's done an outstanding job to get us this far. You can see too that there are, of course, some timelines that we're proposing in here. Hopefully, full implementation by the end of this calendar year. There is a just shy of a $200,000 down payment, which is also in addition to a just over $7,700 per month hardware as a service contract or a lease to this contract. Our previous T2 system We paid approximately $60,000 annually. So this system is about a $33,000 increase overall. However, as part of the installation of T2, we also took out a loan of about $1.2 million to make sure that we can upgrade our system. We don't have to do that with this one. So it's strictly a $199,000 down payment and a $93,000 annual fee for the services being provided. There's some options at the end of the year, at the end of the 5-year term, if we want to buy it out. And there's also some additional options to extend, 2 single-year options to extend. There is also a proposed budget amendment as part of this document. So as we're negotiating and putting together our budget for this fiscal year, we did put a little bit in there, but there was a little bit more that we needed as we finished up our negotiation with Flash Systems equipment or incorporated. I think that generally sums it up on what you're going to see. We can also provide some, when we're finished with it, we can provide some mock-ups, some samples of what the new system is going to be. It literally will be the physical infrastructure that goes in and out of the parking garage, the exit lanes. We're also adding new access control systems to some of our surface lots. So then in case when we have overflow, we're able to track that much better. But yeah, it'll be a total overall, inclusive of the pay on foot machines inside of our terminal. So all of those machines will be replaced, and the back end of will also be replaced. We don't foresee any additional infrastructure at this point. Flash Systems is going to do some of the minor upgrades, like our entrance lane pads. Mike, I forget what those are called, but the ground loops, the sensors to acknowledge that the cars are actually parked there. And then we are going to be putting in some infrastructure of our own to accommodate those surface lots, because that would be in addition to what we currently have today. But again, I think that sums it up, unless Mike or the team, I'm not sure who else is in the room, but I see Mike and Jeff and Jesse.
And Marie.
And Marie.
For airport staff, anything to add to Nick's comments before we turn it over to commissioners? All right, commissioners, any questions for Nick or the team on this project?
I guess oh, sorry, go ahead, Chip.
No, you please, after you.
I guess I'm just curious because I've been seeing this as I've been traveling a lot lately. Are we going to like a Park Mobile app?
Yeah,
Or
good.
That's what it is? Okay, so it's gonna
It's not.
Oh,
it's not a Park
okay.
Mobile app, but it does coordinate with Park Mobile. So if we chose to, we could put it as Park Mobile app. The difference with Park Mobile that I don't see how it would necessarily work until we bring on a prepayment type of system.
Yeah,
When you park on the street, you're kind of prepaying for that parking, and that just wouldn't necessarily work
right.
all of the time. But until we really get used to Flash Systems, it does connect with Park Mobile. It does connect to a couple of other online platforms as well, which
But it's
which is
but
awesome.
you're not gonna have a ticket, right?
You still will have a ticket.
You still
Yeah,
have a
well,
ticket, so this is just the way you pay for the ticket.
That's right. You'll still have a
Okay.
ticket. You can pay for that ticket online if you chose to.
Mhm.
You could pay for it in one of our pay on foot machines.
Okay.
And you could pay for it at the exit with a digital method, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and
Okay. But
touchless
Are you
card.
gonna still be able to have that 30-minute or 1-hour grace?
That's right.
Whatever we have now.
Our fees are set, and they'll still say set. 1 hour free parking, 2 hours for the next 3 hours, and then a $14 daily rate.
So yes, because it would be hard to go to I mean, you've got pay to park, Park Mobile and all these, but if you have people doing multiple days, that makes things a little bit, I think, a little bit more difficult on those platforms.
Yeah, yeah. What's really nice on this new system is when you're still going to pull a ticket, and we have some liability language on the back of that ticket, which is important as well. But as you exit the garage, this new system will be able to detect when you arrived at the airport will
Mm.
automatically show what you owe without even scanning your ticket. So it's going to be a much more touchless automatic
But we'll still have a
billing
gate.
system.
Are we done at a
Still a
gate?
gate,
Still a gate,
absolutely.
okay.
To
Alright.
add in and follow up, is it still a manned gate or are we now able to go through without having to deal with a live person gate attendant?
Yeah, so we haven't had a gate attendant in a few years now, unless there's an issue, and then we run down there. This one will definitely help tremendously because it does come with a mobile app. So our team, our ambassador team, will be able to communicate via video and audio directly to the customer, program whatever they need to wherever they are, whether they're stationed at the curb or interacting at the exit lanes.
Thank you, Nick. I definitely have been at the airport, shows how much attention I've paid as I've exited the parking garage. But so maybe this is I don't know if someone can feel this. I appreciate we've been we have the expense, impact. Is there an expected revenue, because this is a better system, are we capturing more revenue to offset that expense? Or no, still an assumption, same amount of revenue, but just the expense?
I would definitely say there's an increase in revenue as well. So when we have our peak periods, spring break and some of those school breaks, we're parking in our surface lots right now and not charging because we don't have the system, the hardware. So
Yeah.
this will add that capacity with revenue. This will also able to help us detect cars in the garage or cars that are either not paying or there for a long period of time, so that we can either find the owner or remove those vehicles in a much quicker, more efficient fashion, which would allow somebody else to park there. So not necessarily a direct answer to your question because we're not 100% sure, but yeah, the opportunities for increased revenue is there, and a decrease in I would say the time that we need to fix our system, which is AKA expenses, and our system is antiquated, like I said. In fact, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's 2 lanes right now that we cannot fix because T2 does not support those parts anymore.
It's
And is it also a piece, I seem to remember this. I'm always curious that if they lose the ticket, you can only charge them so much.
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, we have video footage that we try to track. It's very difficult on our current system. We ask a customer when they arrived, and then we can program a cost based on that. We won't need to do that with this new
That's what
system
I'm
because
saying. So I
yeah.
do think that there has been some not complete honesty about that. And especially when we have high snow days and things like that. I think people go to the airport, they park for a week and they say they lost their ticket and they pay for a couple days. So I think having, just knowing, being able to track it. And then there's also sometimes the gates are stuck up when I leave at 2 in the morning and I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Right. So we
that's
got to be
something.
losing some revenue there just
Yeah.
from the age.
That's right.
Nick, is it licensed? It's reading the license plate. I'm sorry if I missed that. Is that the
That's right.
technology?
That's right, Jeff. Yeah, this one will have a much newer version of a license plate recognition. We did have that as part of our existing system. I think we got about 4 weeks out of that before it really just wasn't working. Again, this was, oh boy, 7 years ago at least, Mike, that we installed ish.
Yeah.
So that previous license plate recognition never really worked for us. This one will have it. And there's a lot more features to it as well.
Great.
And Nick and team, is the buyout purchase price a fairly standard depreciated version, sort of schedule, or something you negotiated? How did the purchase price get set?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Good question. So as part of the new City of Burlington purchasing policy, this is what we outlined as a cooperative purchasing policy. So we actually utilized Denver really utilizes this system, obviously on a much larger scale, and this contract is identical to Denver, which has that amortized scale of a buyout. The buyout was also introduced as part of the negotiation because there needed to be a recognition of appropriations or non-appropriations clauses in there. So because there's a non-appropriation clause in there, there also needed not just there needed to be a down payment. I'm getting mixed up here, but the down payment to recognize the non-appropriations clause, and then the buyout based on the amortization schedule. That's right.
And the buyout will essentially be amortized, so if we get to 5 years, that buyout would actually be zero at that point. So it would be against payments that we've already made.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's in there and in the contract, but in reality, as long as we're happy with the system and continue with the system, we won't see one. See what happens, yeah.
And it allows us to, which I see more in line, it allows us to negotiate either with this company or another company for an alternate system versus a buyout. I don't know why at this point in time we would want to buy out a hardware system that's 5 years old, even if it is a low. To me, it makes more sense to negotiate and then release new equipment or a new company.
I also wanted to add that this system has the ability to have multiple languages that we can tee up. And so if we have our partners from Canada, people that are traveling here, or if we have Spanish speaking people, we'll be able to select which ones are maybe the most common options and have those be available for somebody to choose and interact with the screen with. It's just a not option we've never had.
Yeah.
Commissioners, anything else for the team? Nick, I did have one question, and I don't necessarily want to get into a long dialogue, but in the memo, it talks about that Flash is a preferred vendor on the cooperative purchasing program. And I believe that's a new wrinkle for us. So maybe just in a few sentences, can you explain what that is and why it's Flash? And usually be like, oh, we looked at 3 or 4 vendors and we chose Flash, but maybe you can just explain that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so typically in the past, we would go out to an RFQ or an RFP for a system like this. Under our new city of Burlington, which of course the airport is part of, under the new policies for procurement, we're now able to utilize some of these larger, mostly municipality ranked procurement companies or preferred vendors, whether it's through GSA, the General Services Administration, which they have preferred vendors, or a system like Omnia, which is in this case what we used and what Denver and many other municipalities have already bid out, and we're able to use that same bid and essentially the contract terms. And that is a very, actually, this I think would be the first time the airport is going to be using the cooperative purchasing program, even on smaller purchases that you may not see necessarily. So this is definitely the first time. This is also, I think, one of the first times, or at least first times in recent memory, that we don't need city council approval for this one. This only needs Board of Finance and yourselves, because it's under a $250,000 total annual amount, and that's only because this first year includes the $199,000 down payment plus the $93,000 annual payments. So there's kind of like two things happening: the preferred vendor using Omnia, which has been bid out by other companies. We looked at many companies. Mike actually went to a conference to look at different companies with his team, and we selected this based on the quality and the qualification of what we were looking for that meet the bid specs of this preferred vendor organization, Omnia. And then, of course, the $250,000 threshold.
So then if I understand that correctly, if we find, and I don't want to limit it to just garage software. But if there's a service that we want to procure and we identify a vendor that we like, we can go to this list, and if they are on this list, then we don't have to do an RFP. We can just go and negotiate directly with that vendor without having to
Essentially,
talk to other vendors.
essentially, as long as the contract and the terms and the scope of work, I should say, is what we're looking for, obviously, in this preferred vendor operation, then yes, we can select companies, goods through these types of cooperative agreements.
Okay, so terms and conditions are 99 or 100% the same. Yes, if there's
right.
deviation, then you would have to go to the conventional RFP route.
That's correct.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Yep.
Right, commissioners, anything else on this topic? Right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. A lot of you are on mute if you're saying, or some of you aren't on screen.
Oh, yes, I said yes. Sorry.
Okay, all right. I think that makes at least 4 that I've seen.
This is Jeff. Sorry, I'm yes.
Okay, great. All right, so that concludes item 4. Item 5 is adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
As moved, is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Jeff. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thanks for
Thank you all very
having
much.
this special meeting.